Hey, 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 it's DDD. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time it is by the time this video uploads. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to review the Go Home Raw show before one of WWE's top 4 ranked pay-per-views of the year, Royal Rumble for the women's division. Okay, so Raw for me last night in regards to the women was similar to last week. Not horrible, but far from good. Now, when I say that, I don't mean for anyone to get defensive or think I'm just trying to be negative. This is just my opinion, and in reality, you guys shouldn't always expect me to be thrilled about every WWE show. Like I said, not horrible, but not good either, in the sense that I haven't really been thoroughly entertained by the last couple of Raws, meaning this Raw and the Raw from last week. Jumping in though, the first sighting we get for the Raw women is Bayley. Bayley is having a sit down interview with commentator Corey Graves, and he asks about her first singles title match this Sunday and her feud with the Nature Girl. Bailey basically says the typical babyface stuff about how she'll persevere and prove a lot of people wrong. Far as my take on the interview, I honestly feel like there isn't too much to say there. The one thing that I will say is that I do believe Bailey should definitely work on her mic skills. Now, I don't want to sound like everyone else who's been turning on and saying all this left field negative shit about Bailey when it was all good just a week ago, so to speak. However, I am going to be honest and call it how I see it. Bailey is awkward on the mic, she stutters, and her delivery doesn't always sound believable. Now, I want to say that I'm not going to shit on Bailey in regards to promo skills also, because to be honest, I kind of feel for her. You know, most wrestling fans like to just sit on their couch or in their mother's basement, really criticizing WWE talent. And I'm not saying that everyone isn't entitled to their opinion, even the loser living with his mom. However, I feel like sometimes you guys forget that these people are still human and you have unrealistic expectations sometimes. Is it unrealistic to expect talent to be able to speak on the mic? No, but it is unrealistic to expect these performers to be perfect. Not everyone's the best in the ring. Not everyone's the best on the mic. It goes both ways, guys. Cutting a good promo isn't as easy as it seems. It's not just about having to put words together, it's also about delivery and telling a story, engaging the crowd. There's a true art to wrestling promos that are a lot easier said than done, and it takes time and practice to get better. A lot of people who talk shit about wrestlers who can't talk, most of you probably couldn't cut a good promo either. Just saying, you know. I'm actually going to go on a bit of a rant defending Bailey at the end of this video because I'm just tired of the bullshit when it comes to these marks. Moving on, I do like this underdog story that and lifelong gimmick thing that they're building for Bailey. I'm aware that some, or it seems a fair amount now, think that it's boring, but I think it allows her to relate to the WWE universe, and it's good storytelling in my opinion. I liked the end of the interview, I will say that too, because I felt then was when Bailey was at her most comfortable. I feel like she's not really comfortable talking right now, but the passion she showed in her delivery of her last few lines were better. Next, we have the Queen and the WWE Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair appearing for a sit-down interview as well with Corey Graves. Charlotte kills it. At this point, I honestly feel like I can put her over as having, well, obviously the best mic skills in Raw's women's division, but I would go as far now to say that she's the best promo for women in the entire company right now, besides maybe Mickie James. And before anyone goes crazy like, oh, how can you put over Mickie James? She hasn't even cut a promo. She just come back. Spare me the BS. History tells all. Mickie, if anyone is familiar with her work, they know that she can cut a good promo. So I'm saying that Mickey may be some competition for Charlotte there. We don't know. We have to hear her cut a promo or two. And just even judging, you can't, I feel like it's not fair to judge someone based off of their first promo. I feel like you should hear a couple to a few promos from them. And if they're consistently bad or if they're consistently good, that's how you really make your judgment. Charlotte, in the interview, talks about defending her title and how she personally feels about Bayley as a competitor and a character. Now, Charlotte, she touched on a few different things. She talked about how the Royal Rumble is supposed to be known as a good pay-per-view for the Flairs because her father won the Royal Rumble in 1992, and she was basically saying that this year would be no different, and she sees this year really as an opportunity to one-up her own father's legacy. I thought that was such a perfect response because she went back and referred to history and put over her father, but then in the very end also basically shitted on him because she was on some stuff like, you know what I mean? I just love how arrogant she is. I love how she was talking about how she's, you know what I'm saying, she did grow up with a silver spoon in her mouth and she's not going to apologize for it. I just love the arrogance because I just feel like she's such a good heel. You know what I mean? That's what a heel's about. Obviously, every heel doesn't necessarily have to be arrogant just because they're heel. I feel like that's kind of a generic approach to it. Even though most of the time I feel like it's not bad, but everyone doesn't have to necessarily have that arrogance about them. Charlotte's arrogance is very strong. Like that's what really makes her character, her confidence, her cockiness. I just love the fact that she's so savage about it and nonchalant. You know what I mean? Like she'll tell you that she's spoiled and oh well, like what are you gonna do? Like you know what I mean? Like I really love that because I feel like that's being a real heel, and I like the fact that she also said like whatever, yes my father did make one phone call, yes I was silver spooned into the company, even though in real interviews she says it wasn't really that easy for her, but whatever for the character. I like that she said that, but then she also said, hey, but no one's complaining. You know why? Because I have talent. I just thought her responses to everything. She even like went heel on Corey Graves and you know what I mean, came at him a little bit like don't put words in my mouth. I just love like Charlotte is really like she's really making me like her more and more like each and every week. I just feel like her promos have kind of went from like boring to okay, like what I mean, she's progressed over time. There was a time where I felt like it was not really, what I mean, I wasn't really that ready to put her over as being a good promo because I felt like she would be hit or miss. Like sometimes she would have good promos and then other times it would be like boring, mediocre, whatever. But recently, I feel like she's been consistently cutting good promos. So that's why now I feel comfortable to put her over as the best promo for women in the company. I'm aware that there are a lot of people who actually think Alexa Bliss is, but in my personal opinion, even though I'm an Alexa Bliss fan, I feel like really her promos are generic, and it's just like the typical mean girl thing. She doesn't really say any like punchlines that make you go ooh, like for real, for real. You know what I mean? Like her promos, I feel like are for kids. You know what I mean? Like who, I don't know, I guess think kid insults are still good. But for anyone who's like my age, 21 or even older, whatever, like we want to I don't know, I don't really know how to describe it, but we don't, I guess I can say it best this way. We don't want, generic shit. Like we want to hear you really take jabs and different things like that. So that's just what I wanted to say about those two interviews. I'm not mad that we got interviews instead of a match or something else like for the build. I thought that was fine. Moving on, we still have Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. We had Nia in another squash match. Whoop-de-doo. And nothing was special about that. It was the typical squash stuff. The one spot that I will say I particularly liked from that was when the jobber was like laying in the lower corner of the turnbuckle, and Nia like literally just jumps up and throws all her weight down on the talent. I thought that was cool. That was something new. I haven't seen her do that before. And maybe that's just something new she's going to add to her moveset. And I like it. I feel like it's convincing. No, it's not an amazing maneuver, but I just still feel like it's good because it's believable. Nia has all that weight on her and she's just crashing it down on you at a, you know what I'm saying, at a height. I think that's believable, and that's pretty cool. So I liked that. That's what I kind of took from the match. Um, Beforehand, though, or no, afterwards, Nia Jax has a in-ring interview, and what I want to say about Nia's promo skills, I don't want to shit on her either, because she is still kind of new, and she hasn't really had the opportunity to talk too much, to have the practice and everything, and her promo, it wasn't horrible, but I felt like her delivery wasn't really believable at all. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really believe her promo. It felt like she was cutting a promo, like she was acting to me. Um, so I didn't really like that. But like I said, not gonna shit on her. You know what I mean? I believe she will get better with time. But that's just my criticism on that note. She basically talks down Sasha and talks about how, she's weak, and, just the typical stuff about whatever with Sasha, how she doesn't like her. So Sasha, hearing all that, comes out with the crutch. So at first, when I'm seeing this, I'm really wondering and thinking to myself, like, what is she about to do? Like, coming to the ring like this? So she comes to the ring, and Naya's like literally looking at her as she's walking down, like, girl, what you think you about to do? So Sasha walks down with the crutch, and she's standing in front of Naya in the ring, and then she just swings the crutch at Naya's leg. And I don't care how big you are or how tough you think you are. Well, maybe I won't say tough, but I mean, even then, like, if someone's swinging a crutch at you, like, swiftly and hard, yeah, you're gonna feel that. Like, you know what I mean? You still have nerves, you still have skin, you feel that pain, you feel those things. So, she did that to kind of throw Nia off, stun her, and then she like ran in the ring, took the crutch, and just started going to town on Nia. I loved that. That was really good to me, because that was believable for me, like, as a way to attack Nia. So I liked that. I like the fact that I love when Sasha's pissed. I love when she's showing raw, real emotion, because I feel like it's so believable. She sells being upset very well. And she got Nia to charge towards her and basically dump Nia out the ring, and then did the Meteora from the ring apron, which I thought that was very good. I really liked that segment. I thought that was a good way to put Sasha over Nia, to finally get some momentum going into their now pre-show match for the Royal Rumble, the kickoff show. Um, yeah, I really liked that. I really liked that. I especially like the fact that we finally got the chance to see Sasha look strong in this feud with Nia, because she's like literally been looking weak this whole time. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, I feel like in a way it kind of makes sense when you see Nia Jax and Sasha Banks. The size difference between them is crazy. So I don't really feel like that kind of, that shouldn't have been a 50-50 thing, in my opinion. I'm aware that people believe that Sasha is overall more talented than Nia Jax. I'm not denying that. I agree with that. However, if we're talking about the story, if, to make things believable, Nia size, Sasha size, there's no way that Sasha should just be whooping Nia's ass, or Nia should be an easy opponent for her. So I want to say, like I said, I did really like that. That attack, that revenge that Sasha got on Nia. So that was that. That was Raw for this week. We got another Emelina promo too. Whatever. Um, I'm not gonna really delve into that, because whatever, it's the same old, same old. Um, And that's basically it. That's basically all we got for the women for Raw. I mean, Alicia Fox, she has her whole thing going on with the cruiserweights, but as far as I'm concerned, that's not really related to the women's division, so I never really care to comment on that or review that. As far as I'm concerned, like, I don't know. I mean, it's giving her something to do, so I'm not mad at that, but I just kind of feel like it's not gonna really put that whole storyline with her, Noam Dar, and or Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. I feel like that's not really putting anyone over. I heard already about the whole stupid thing with Vince liking the fact that Noam Dar says Alicia Fox, like, whatever. Um, I do feel like it's kind of funny, but it's not worth like really trying to make an angle out of it and not have this talent do something meaningful because you're literally amused by something as simple as that, even though it is funny. It's not something to want to make an angle out of, though, or really invest in. But whatevs. Yeah, so now for my Bailey rant. This is what I want to say about Bailey, right? I don't like the fact that a lot of fans have been turning against her lately. Now, let me explain why. I'm not saying that people aren't allowed to not care for Bailey. I'm not saying that people aren't allowed to even dislike Bailey. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. It's not my issue. However, I just don't like the flip flop of it all. And I just feel like it's something that's been consistent with a lot of NXT superstars, you know? People love them when they're in NXT. And then it's like when they come to the main roster, it's like now all of a sudden no one cares about them anymore. Now they're boring. Now it's this. Now it's that. Now critiques are flying here and there, left and right. And I just feel like everything that people are bitching about Bailey and whatever she does and whatever's going on with her, it's not really that different from what she was doing in NXT. So I just don't understand what's the difference between then and now that makes fans like switch up and now all of a sudden no one likes Bailey and no one really cares for her. Like the whole gimmick thing, I mean, I feel like that's kind of bullshit because I feel like most people weren't complaining about Bailey's gimmick in NXT. Everyone loved Bailey. I feel like there were always those few people who, you know what I mean, it wasn't their taste. Yeah, but for the most part, people loved Bailey. They loved the gimmick. They understood what it was, who she was, and why she had the gimmick. Um, like I said, as far as the promo skills, you can miss me with that. You're allowed to critique, but I feel like you guys are really just being assholes about it. Like, you know what I mean? And like I said, cutting a promo is easier said than done. And just like with the wrestling, some people, they need a little bit more time to hone the skills in the ring. Some people, they need a little more time to hone their characters and their mic skills, you know? Nobody's perfect. And I feel like I can relate to Bailey in a way because generally, I consider myself to be well-spoken, but sometimes I have trouble putting words together too. As you maybe can notice from this video or any of my older videos, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, I just have trouble putting words together, but I know that I'm not dumb and I know that I can speak properly when I have time, when it's the time. See? Messing up words, blah, blah, messing up my words now. You know what I mean? So my point is, it happens. People are human. And, you know, I can imagine Bailey's probably nervous every time she has to talk or cut a promo. And it's real easy to tell someone to shake their nerves or not to be nervous. You know, I'm just saying, have a little mercy when you critique her. And then I don't like the fact that everyone's kind of talking about, oh, now they don't like the Bailey the belly suplex. I literally don't remember a soul complaining about Bailey's finisher when she was in NXT. No one complained about her finisher. Now she's on the main roster, and all of a sudden now the Bailey the belly is a stupid finisher, and it's not believable and it's not credible. Spare me the bullshit. I understand the perspective of saying, okay, whatever, Bailey's a small woman, so maybe it doesn't look believable on everyone that she competes against. And I do agree with that because, like I said, wasn't here for how she became number one contender against Nia Jax. However, I feel like a slam is a slam. You know what I mean? Like, however you get slammed in the ring, it's not going to feel good. So, especially if you're going through the motions of a match and you've been taking bump after bump and you're tired, you know what I mean? It's a match. So, I feel like whenever Bailey pulls out the Bailey to belly, there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like people sometimes they look too deep into things. You know what I mean? Like that. I feel like complaining about something like that, that's kind of stupid and silly in my opinion. Especially like I said, when most people weren't even complaining or mentioning that when she was in NXT. Now all of a sudden everyone doesn't like the Bailey to belly. Whatever. Whatever. So I don't want people to think that I'm being biased at all. Bailey isn't my favorite by any means. However, I'm not going to deny her talent just because whatever, she's not my favorite. Um I'm not gonna lie, I'm in general, as far as my opinion on Bailey, I'm indifferent towards her. I don't really care for her too much. She's okay for me. I know she can go in the ring, so I like to watch her wrestle against certain opponents or whatever the case may be. But she's not really one of my faves necessarily. So know that I'm not being biased when I'm saying this. So that was it. Rant over. It wasn't as, I guess, passionate. I don't think it didn't seem as passionate from the inside looking out how I voiced it. And originally, I thought when I did go on that rant, I would sound way more passionate and just annoyed, because I am a little annoyed. I don't like how the WWE universe is so fickle. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting change over time or expecting to see new faces, but sometimes it just really gets ridiculous, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to address that. And that'll be the end of this video. It's 20 minutes long. I don't like rambling and keeping you guys forever. So on that note, I'm going to end the video. And, you know, for SmackDown tonight, I will probably live react to that. I was thinking about reviewing it, but I'll probably live react to it tonight. So that'll be for later on tonight. And until then, I'm signing out. This is DDD. Comment, like, and subscribe.